So, the United States of America, greatest democracy in the world. I was told that doing Bright Club would be very tough. But you know, I taught for 2 years in a school in the East End. So I know exactly what to do in a room full of people who have only turned up to laugh at me. Or throw things at me, okay? Whatever, I'm ready. I do think you're in safe hands though, because I was a mathematics teacher, and if there's one thing that everyone knows mathematics teachers are famous for, it is being interesting and entertaining, of course. So, anyway, the US elections. So, in a state in America, everyone votes for who they want the president to be. They count up the votes. The one who gets the most votes wins that state. So what we can do mathematically is analyse the voting power of individuals in different states. We do this by looking at the probability that an individual vote in that state will change the result in that state. Okay? So what we need for that is the population of a state. We need to know about voting trends. First example, Florida. Okay? 8.4 million voters. Very close in the last election. 50-50 between Romney and Obama. So, to make the maths easier, what I'm going to assume is that everyone went to the ballot box, flipped a coin, and decided to vote for like that, okay? If you think this sounds unrealistic, then you obviously do not understand mathematicians. Mathematicians do not care about realistic. Mathematicians are only interested in questions that are easy enough they already know the answer to them, okay? The real world, too complicated. I'll give you an example. The other day, my research group went to a swanky location, okay, to discuss how we were going to piss away taxpayers' money on looking at the mathematics of trade flows around the world between 200 countries, okay? Very complicated stuff, 200 countries. By the end of the morning, we were really struggling, until a colleague of mine, who I'm going to call Hannah Fry, because that's her name, she suggested this, okay? She said, wouldn't it be easier if we pretended there were only 6 countries in the world? Okay? We love that, right? I swear to you, by the end of the day, we'd rolled every country into one big country. No more international trade, we'd done our job. We sat around drinking wine, congratulating ourselves on a job well done. Okay, mathematicians do not like reality, but we're not like the only ones, okay? Medical researchers, they never come to any conclusion that's negative. Physicists, they never come to any conclusion that can be tested. Okay? Social scientists, they never come to any conclusions at all. It's great, okay? The only people who do live in the real world is economists. You've just seen one of those talking. Would you trust that man? No, you wouldn't. Okay? Back to voting. Florida then, okay? We can use what we've learned here to look at the probability that an individual vote will change the result in Florida, 0.03%. Okay? Now let's look at Utah. Okay, smaller, 900,000 voters, right? Not a close state. 75% of people in Utah voted for Romney, okay? So now again, to make the maths easier, I'm going to assume that what happened is they went to the ballot box undecided, and then with a 75% chance they put a tick next to Romney, 25% chance next to Obama, okay? Using that assumption, I can calculate the voting power of people in Utah, the probability that their vote would change the result in Utah. It doesn't quite fit on my slide, okay? You have got to bear with me. Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, there are 56,300 zeros in this number, okay? It's a good thing there are a lot of evangelicals in Utah, because you need a hell of a lot of faith to think your vote is going to matter with these odds. If you voted in Utah, you must have been feeling lucky, so why not go out and get a EuroMillions ticket while you're at it? Your chance of winning that is only 1 in 100 million, okay? But spend your money wisely. Buy a nuclear bunker, because your chance of getting hit by a meteorite is 1 in 7 billion, okay? And your chance of dying falling out of bed is 1 in 2 million, which is trillions and trillions and trillions of times more likely than your vote counting in Utah. Okay? Greatest democracy in the world, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Obviously, elections are not decided in individual states, they're decided across the whole country, right? So what happens in America, if you win a state, you get a certain number of what are called electoral college votes. There are 538 available, big states give you more. You need 270, that's just over half, to win, okay? So what we can do now, we can look at the voting power of individual voters, not to change the result in their state, but change the whole election, okay? So, we can compare different states by looking at what needs to happen for that state to become critical, how many states need to flip from Obama to Romney or vice versa to make a state critical. Florida, okay? Florida, 29 electoral votes, so only needs 3 of the closest states to flip from Obama to Romney to become a critical state. Utah, only 6 electoral votes, needs 4 of the closest states to flip from Obama to Romney to become the critical state in the election. Okay? So we can look at the voting power of people in these states using that. Okay, look at these numbers, right? The blue number, this is my Brian Cox moment, so, you know, human. The blue number is the number of atoms in the whole observable universe. Okay? The red number is the number of times more powerful a vote is cast in Florida than in Utah. Okay? The word trillion appears 14,700 times in that number, right? If you are thinking of casting a vote in Utah, okay? Don't bother. Take your ballot home, use it as toilet paper. Phone someone in Florida, right? Or anyone. Try and convince them to vote for your candidate. Even if you only have a 1 in a billion, 1 in a trillion chance of convincing that person, it's still a lot more useful than a vote cast in Utah, right? Seriously. Greatest democracy in the world, okay? Now, the candidates know this. This is why they don't campaign in Utah. They only campaign in 9 states. They know the votes elsewhere don't make any difference at all, okay? So, obviously the maths I've used here is horribly oversimplified, but I hope I've at least showed you that there is a disparity in this system. There is a big problem here, right? But I do actually have a solution, okay? Now, it's a bit technical. This is a new system they could employ. It's a bit technical. Bear with me, right? So what they could do, they could count the total number of votes for each candidate. I haven't finished yet. And then they could see who had more. It's radical, it's very radical, I know, but maybe that would work. I don't know, I'm just me. So, yeah, I've almost finished, thank you very much. I just have one suggestion to finish on, okay? Because there's obviously a big problem in America with this system. They need someone new to fix their democratic system, to lead them to a new dawn of liberty. I think I've found that person, ladies and gentlemen. He's here this evening. So please, give a warm welcome to the next President of the United States of America. He knows how to hold other people's babies. It is Finn Taylor, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much indeed. That is all.
Yeah! And you know the first thing I'm doing when I'm president, I'm coming